power. This was done on party lines. They will own this.
And again, $9 billion, a relative drop in the bucket of the federal budget, so it's not really about cost cutting. Let's turn now to President Trump directing Attorney General Pam Bondi to ask a court for the release of pertinent grand jury testimony in the case of Jeffrey Epstein. The president made the announcement last night in a post on social media, writing his decision comes based on the ridiculous amount of publicity given to the case, his words, while calling it a scam perpetuated by the Democrats, and writing the whole matter should end right now. Attorney General Bondi responded on social media last night, writing the Justice Department is, quote, ready to move the court tomorrow to unseal the grand jury transcripts. Meanwhile, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt was asked yesterday about a possible special counsel appointment for the case, as well as the president's claims the Epstein files are a hoax.
Well, the idea was floated from someone in the media to the president. The president would not recommend a special prosecutor in the Epstein case. That's how he feels.
There's been a lot of discussion about the Epstein files and the president's comments yesterday calling it a hoax. Can you clarify which part of the Epstein hoax is the hoax part?
The president is referring to the fact that Democrats have now seized on this as if they ever wanted transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein, which is an asinine suggestion for any Democrat to make. The Democrats had control of this building, the White House, for 4 years, and they didn't do a dang thing when it came to transparency in regards to Jeffrey Epstein.
Again, spinning wildly, trying to blame Democrats for Jeffrey Epstein. Those comments come despite some of the president's most prominent supporters backing the idea of appointing a special counsel, including Steve Bannon, Laura Loomer, and Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert of Colorado. President Trump's former vice president, Mike Pence, spoke out in an interview this week, pushing for the release of the Epstein files.
I think the time has come for the administration to release all of the files regarding Jeffrey Epstein's investigation and prosecution. I think that anyone who participated or was associated with this despicable man ought to be held up to public scrutiny. I just think we ought to get the facts to the American people. I mean, I've always believed in transparency. I know of no reason why this administration, once the victims' names are protected, should not release all the files on Jeffrey Epstein.
Elon Musk also weighing in, flooding his social media site X with criticism of the president, and far-right media personality, longtime Trump supporter Nick Fuentes called the president's handling of the case a scam. Meanwhile, President Trump says he will sue the Wall Street Journal over its latest reporting on a letter Trump allegedly sent to Jeffrey Epstein in 2003. According to the Journal, the letter was part of a larger gift Epstein's former girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, was preparing, an album of dozens of letters from Epstein's friends and associates on his 50th birthday. People who have reviewed the notes tell the Journal the pages are among the documents the Justice Department reviewed when it investigated Epstein and Maxwell years ago. It's unclear whether these documents are part of the Trump administration's recent review. The Journal reports it reviewed the letter bearing Trump's name, describing it as bawdy. The paper writes the letter, quote, contains several lines of typewritten text framed by the outline of a naked woman, which appears to be hand-drawn with a heavy marker. The letter concludes, happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret. NBC News has not independently verified that document. In an interview with the Journal, the president denied writing the letter, saying, quote, this is not me. This is a fake thing. I never wrote a picture in my life. I don't draw pictures of women. It's not my language. It's not my words. The Journal reports the president then threatened to sue the paper if it published the piece. The Justice Department has not responded to the Journal's request for comment. The FBI also declining comment. Last night, after the story was indeed published, President Trump slammed the piece again in a Truth Social post, writing, it is false, malicious, and defamatory. He went on to write he will be suing the Journal, its parent company News Corp, and its owner, Rupert Murdoch. Joe.
So, Dave Weigel, there had been talk of this story coming for quite some time. And yesterday afternoon, when it started to be reported that the White House and the president was pressuring the Wall Street Journal and Emma Tucker not to publish a story. At that point, you looked at it. I'm sure your reaction was the same as mine, which was, well, now the Wall Street Journal is going to publish this story because they can't be seen backing down to President Trump just because he's applying the pressure. But it is fascinating, isn't it, that we've seen the lawsuits against everybody from ABC News, CBS News, even Ann Seltzer because of a poll that went terribly wrong. But now the possibility of Rupert Murdoch. The president says he's going to sue Rupert Murdoch and News Corp.
I do want to separate Ann Seltzer because of the people you mentioned. She's the one who didn't settle. She just won, and they withdrew the lawsuit. When it comes to Murdoch and the other suite of media companies he owns Fox News, too. I've seen Republicans, Randy Fine from Florida, say that he's having his office cancel their free Wall Street Journal subscription. What are they going to do about Fox News? Is Fox News going to get the same treatment? Because you saw last night finally some unity from Republicans this week. They are very comfortable in the skin of blaming the media for lying about Donald Trump, and they're very comfortable blaming Democrats for, as some of them were even saying, colluding. Word didn't really apply here, by pointing out the story, making fun of the story. Democrats have been surprisingly unified on this. I say surprisingly because I was talking to Jamie Harrison, the former DNC chair, this week, and asked him, did the DNC ever think about running Epstein ads or making hay of this in 2024? And they never did. So this has become more partisan because of the release of the story. But I'm not trying to use the passive voice here. It's Republicans who decided this is a much more familiar fight for them to have. Blame the media. It's just a little inconvenient that they're blaming the Wall Street Journal, which has not the editorial page that goes after Trump on trade, but generally credibility with Republicans. Fox News, which is hiring conservative podcasts that are very pro-Trump. Are they going to declare total war against Fox News for lying about the president? I don't know where that stage of this goes. The first stage of it, of them saying it's all fake, that's very familiar for Republicans to just say the media is lying about Donald Trump.
Yeah, let me just note, in his statement, Trump said he doesn't do drawings. In fact, he does drawings. There's a bunch of doodles that he's produced of New York City landscapes. I don't know if there's a naked women one in public yet. I agree with you that this is a familiar foe for Republicans, and that they seem a lot more comfortable going after the fake news, and in this case,